All right, traders, welcome to today's recap. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and we'll start with the S&P chart today. As usual, we'll start with that. We finished up, believe it or not, we finished up 60 basis points. So not a bad day. It was a bit choppy, I would say. Keep in mind, we came into the market, we came into the open about up 30 or 40 basis points. And if you're holding positions overnight, that's good for you. But in terms of day trading, it's kind of been, I would say, a little bit difficult to really take positions around the open when we come in and futures are bid up a little bit. It just seems like it's really not the right environment. Those days when we come in and the market's down, seems to be excellent day trading opportunities. The days like this are kind of few and far between. We catch a little bit of momentum on the open, but we came in for most of the day until about 1:30, and it was again a little bit political headline driven with the tariffs and some announcement about the tariffs, and that drove the market, seemed to drive the market up anyway, or maybe provide just a little bit of relief. Sometimes these announcements, which came after 3 o'clock today, the actual conference, it seems to just kind of hold the market or the buyers back. And then once that takes place, then it kind of feels like the buyers are unleashed a bit. So pretty choppy day, but there was definitely some individual names that were moving around and some different groups that participated. So let's go back to the S&P chart. And I think we are still underneath that 50-day moving average, non-dividend adjusted, and regardless, still kind of in value. And I think the S&P has been a bit choppier than some of the other indices. So if we bring up the Qs, that's been obviously the outperformer, almost back to 52-week highs, getting pretty close. I see a lot of people talking about that. Can they do it? The Qs break out. I don't really care, and I don't know what the fascination is with this. There's plenty of groups that are. Just take, for example, we've been talking about technology the last couple of days, but even look at the equally weighted technology ETF. This is RYT. So what does that mean? It means it covers the whole space of technology, and every company in this ETF gets the same weight. So there's no bias to like the FANG stocks or anything like that. They're making 52-week highs. So there's plenty of groups and pockets of strength. So I don't really care if the Qs make a 52-week high or not. What I care about is owning strength and owning names that are making 52-week highs. So really strong out of this group. This inched up a little bit higher today, up 44 basis points. But what I think caught a lot of people's attention was the casino stocks. They were very strong. I'll start with Wynn. Really, that's the name that's been catching a lot of option activity. But actually, look at loss. So this looks great. A little bit of digestion here, almost broke. It kind of bend but don't break here on this particular day was a hammer bar. And since then, we've had some nice price movement. But actually, look at Las Vegas Sands. Las Vegas Sands was up 5% today, and I think this is a little bit better looking to me, even though the aggressive option activity, which we've noted that occurred several days last week and probably the week before in Wynn, really kind of helped guide a little bit. But look at Las Vegas Sands, MACD crossover for today, first crossover. And I know it's difficult sometimes when you see these big moves, right? A 5% move. But keep in mind, this has just been moving kind of sideways since it had earnings. So, and just a new MACD crossover, so new trend change. Look at the volume as well on Las Vegas Sands. So really, really nice. And if you've been patient with this name, looks like you were rewarded today. I do not have a position on it. I wanted to see where it closed. I just, at this point, after a nice rally, tomorrow we have the jobs numbers. Really didn't add much risk. Did a little bit of day trading in some names today, but no new swing trades for me today. Other names that really had a lot of momentum, Blackberry, looks like it faded a little bit at the end of the day, but what's really nice about this Blackberry chart is you go back and you've got this long base that's been going on in Blackberry, and it's starting to make that move higher. So really nice looking mainly just weekly calls were bought today, but still, I think that the chart looks really compelling here. A couple other names. This QD. Hey, I got long this QD name. And I think I don't want to jinx it because I want to take half off before they report on earnings on Monday. But this thing has been just a huge play, and we caught this pretty early. So I think I'm up 19% in this trade since I put it on back on February 23rd. I mean, just basically a couple weeks, and I'm up 19%. In this QD trade, and they've been coming in. They actually bought August calls probably about a month ago, and then once they started coming back in is when I decided, hey, that's enough is enough. I'll go ahead and take a position in it, and yeah, I'm up 19% in this one. So again, a lot of names really carrying momentum in some different areas of the market. This is a China name. It's a financial name. A newer name. You can't go back any further than this. But again, nice base that this thing is in. You can see you don't have a 200-day moving average yet, but nice price action above here. A few other names, staying in the Chinese internet space. We saw this nice call buyer in BZUN yesterday, and I've been long. And I've been long stock in this name for a long time, but I went ahead yesterday into this little inside day, and I put on a call spread in this name. So certainly working pretty nicely today. This is up 8.25% today, and getting close to the highs from yesterday. So nice move and nice signal yesterday, which kind of compelled me to take an option position along with my cash position that we saw. A few other names. I'm not going to go over all of them. I think Mosaic is interesting. Again, I'm kind of looking for names that have had names in different sectors at this point, rather than staying with technology. You could see Mosaic is one of those names, but that has been gliding higher after a big move down. So I like this name here. It is above all the moving averages. It's above the 200-day moving average now, and maybe a longer term play, I think, in Mosaic, because it does look like it's been a pretty choppy looking chart over the last year. But they have been buying calls little bits and pieces over the last couple of weeks in MOS. And keep in mind, they're going out to June, so hasn't been huge trades in this one. But a couple other names, speaking of names that are not in the tech space. STZ, which I've talked about in the videos a couple times, wonderful trade at this point. I took my I was in a July 20 call position, and I took this off for $19.80 today. I got in right around $12, and out in July. So this is when the stock was down here, when we saw all this call buying. And this thing has just reacted really well since it's reclaimed the 50-day moving average. So has gone from about 214 to 227. What I did was I took that position off and I rolled it into a smaller call spread. So just keeping wanting to keep a runner on in this name, considering how well it's reacted here. So again, repeat call buying was the signal that we saw. Big and again, big orders. Speaking of big orders, this Teradyne, I'm not sure if this was against stock. I didn't actually take a look and investigate, but again, sometimes it doesn't matter too much what somebody's doing on the tape. Clearly this is a $5.3 million trade, so probably a stock replacement, I'm guessing. And notice what this thing's doing. It's at the 52-week high. Maybe somebody's thinking that this is going to this may be looking to break out and go higher at this point. So maybe somebody's just substituting, has made a lot of money in the stock, and is taking it down and just owning options for the upside at this point. Still, 5 point. It still is a big, regardless if it's a stock replacement or not. It's still $5 million of a position. So interesting. We'll keep an eye on this, see if it breaks out further. It is tough to kind of get long some of these names that have really dipped nicely. This thing was at $40, so it's tough to really get involved in the name at 48. But maybe it comes back and checks back to the top of value. I think that might be a better place. Or if you want to participate and try to play the try to play. I can't speak today. Try to play the breakout. Maybe you do that in smaller size, and then look to add on weakness. So that's Teradyne. Just to kind of go further over those political headlines, just the stocks that really moved today. Look at what Deere did today. Really big move there from 3 o'clock on. Same thing with Caterpillar. And someone was playing these names through the industrial ETF. Somebody bought XLI call options, basically about right in here. So they may have caught a little bit of a move. Let's see what the industrials do tomorrow. See if they have a follow-through move. This is a group that has seen a lot of outflows. I track ETF fund flows on a day-to-day basis, and there was a lot of money being taken out here. I think it was about $700 million. Going from memory, and then they added back some money. They added back I think about a third of that position back. So it has seen inflows. Apologies, I don't have the inflow chart up right in front of me, but it was heavy outflows, and you can just pull that up on my Twitter page by clicking by selecting the symbol XLI and my Twitter handle, and you'll be able to find out. You'll see the flows that I've been talking about in that name about a week and a half ago. The one thing to note, I really don't have that many transactions on here today, that many trades. It just wasn't one of those, there was select call buying, and some of the call buying from recent days that I've gone over in this video have really worked pretty well. But today it just seemed like it was a bit quieter. Again, I only put down on this list, the most aggressive trades, really the trades that have been swept. And, there really wasn't that much. There was a little bit of Google calls, short dated stuff. For next week, some Google calls that were bought next week. This is a name, every time, I shoot these videos and also in the pre-market when I go over day trade setups, Google really I haven't really been that involved in Google, but it's quietly been marching up here. So again, call buying in this yesterday and a little bit more again today. But again, short dated stuff. Going up in Google. So definitely keep an eye on that. Some traders played this today for a day trade, made some money in it. So maybe a name to watch for tomorrow. Okay, so we got the jobs report tomorrow, 8:30. We'll be in the trading room bright and early for that one tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody, and see you tomorrow.